Hi, I'm James, the growth executive with week 13. Congratulations. We did it together. So again, I want you to reply to this email with what you would like to see next. I'm kicking around the 12-week year training guide based on our own execution with the team and a coach that I hired to do that. So I'd love to share that with you. Now, we're going to talk about scaling with Agile principles. I brought this on early when I defined RevOps and Agile. I kind of gave it an honorable mention early in our sequence together. And we're going to put it all together as to what all these ideas mean and how do we execute. Because I've given you a lot to think about. And there's no way in 13 weeks you're going to have perfected any of this or even get it all implemented. So you're like, okay, James, where do I start? What do I do? As a reminder, the Agile principle or an Agile way is to really design and develop what you want the outcome to be. So you're thinking kind of in reverse, and you're letting that reverse thinking be informed by what you just learned and what you're modifying, right? So you learn and you do and you execute, then you design, develop, and redevelop, and then you execute, and you just tighten that circle down. How fast this wheel spins is totally up to you and your culture and the type of customer and product that you're building and serving, okay? I have seen organizations spin very fast. I have seen organizations spin very slow. I will spend some time with you in the coaching context or even on a quick phone call and try to gauge your personality. Okay, is this person wanting to move quick and they need to move quick? We've got capital constraints and time is of the essence, so we need to move very fast. Or do we need to slow the roll a bit and slow it down and just get one or two things done at a time? We have time. Time is fine. Okay. Now, I tend to move very fast. I think time, as you know, is the one resource that is not renewable. I can go make a lot more money. I can leverage other people's money. Money's not a problem. Money's never a problem, right? I tell my kids, yeah, money may not grow on trees, which is what my dad used to tell me. But I do remind them that money, at least in the US, is made of cotton and that grows on the ground. So it's actually easier to get to. So money is not the issue. The issue is in execution and in time to implement what you're doing and be capital efficient. Okay. All right. So the Agile way sets us up for success in that way because we can execute very quickly and we can generate feedback faster and then we can learn from said feedback. Now, this is the idea generator that I take a team through, and I highly suggest that this be facilitated and not just run by the CEO. If you are going to do this as the CEO, it's imperative that you slow it down a bit, keep an open mind. Otherwise, this board's going to look a lot like your ideas and not your team ideas, right? So early in the years, I would just do it. And then I was starting to find that our strategic plans always looked the same. And it was kind of looking like me all the time. And I'm like, that's not what I want, right? So if I don't have someone facilitating it, then I will assign different areas of our company to team members and I will have them do it. And then I just get really good at asking questions and having curiosity and keeping an open mind, which as the founder can be very hard sometimes when you think you have all the answers. You are not God's gift to your company. You are, but you are there to enable and empower your people. They're the gift. Okay, so bring in a facility if you have to. The ideas board here is just a bunch of sticky notes. Just throw it up on the board, write all the ideas. No such thing as a bad idea. Just get them all on the board. What are all the ideas that we need to implement in the next 12 weeks or the next 12 months to drive revenue? All right. What are some things that we need to do? And the team's going to come up with some ideas. You're going to think, and then you're going to take a sticky note and you're going to break it down into maybe 2 or 3 sticky notes because there's more ideas behind that idea, right? So you get them all up on the board. Then you start to place the impact versus effort focuser to say, hey, what is the impact on this in the shortest amount of time? Years ago, when my wife and I were first married, we came into the marriage with some student debt and some credit card debt early on. And we're like, okay, we did this like Dave Ramsey seminar we went to, and they taught us to not just necessarily pay off the high interest first, but create a snowball effect, if you would, by paying off the lowest balance first, and then apply that up and kind of create that impact in time. When I'm working with coaching clients, I tell them the same thing. Create the space that you can do most immediate in your schedule, and then do high impact things in that time to leverage that time to unlock and free more time, right? So that you get that, again, that leverage effect. So we're looking for the greatest amount of impact with the least amount of effort. We're going to start there and prioritize that task. That might be where you bring in color coding if you want, but the quadrant's going to make it pretty high. If you have things that have a high impact that you can implement today that have a high impact but a low level of effort, then that's what you're working on. That's the next cycle. That's the process. All right. So get the ideas on the board. They don't have to be all worked on at the same time, but begin to understand the impact versus effort. Double down and focus there. And this is exactly what we do in our onboarding time together, or if I facilitate an offsite with you virtually or in person, that's what we work on, to kind of get that plan in play so that we know what you should be focused on based on the greatest impact in the least amount of effort, so we can double down and create more space. James of thegrowthexecutive.com, scan that QR code. Thank you again for participating in this email series. It's been a lot to me. I've got great feedback. Had wonderful conversations with many of you. Let's continue this. I'll work on another one here in a few weeks to launch around the 12-week year. If there's anything else I can do to help in the meantime, I am James at thegrowthexecutive.com or James at tg.llc for short. I look forward to seeing you in our next email series. Have a great day. Bye-bye.